Towers of Doom, the map, first map in the best of 3 series. We are in the lower bracket, the losers bracket, where Washed Up faces off against the Swedish House Mafia. So, with Washed Up losing to Paper My Lady in the first round of the winner bracket, it also meant it was still a best of 1 setup. They found themselves in the losers bracket pretty quickly, whereas on the other side, obviously, we had still our winner bracket semi-final between Feel the Heat and the Swedish House Mafia, where initially Marcus' team was able to get the first map win, but then lost 2 in a row and therefore find themselves now in a loser bracket where they have to fight for their tournament survival. Towers of Doom is our first map, and let's jump into the draft and see which team is going to take the lead here, as the first predictable ban is coming out after the last series they played. Again, Medivh gets shut down hard.
We know both of these teams can play Medivh, but Swedish House Mafia leaning on it a little more firmly here. It gets banned out by Washed Up. There goes the Rhaegar ban. Are we going to see maybe ETC or Johanna, or are we going to stick to some more of these target bans?
I mean, you kind of Towers of Doom also, honestly, there's so much that you can get rid of, even if you want to, for example, just ban out some of these Zarya strategies that we've seen from the team with from Grotta on their side. That's a pick that they oftentimes take, and you can make a strong format happen at the bottom of the map. Garrosh gets banned. That's obviously oftentimes part of exactly that combo when you go into a Zarya plus Garrosh setup, so that already counters that to an extent. And we see Cassia banned out once more, which leaves multiple heroes that we've seen a lot. Tassadar, Urel, both still up, and it's the Space Goat that gets picked first for Washed Up as they're locking her in. Tassadar, the immediate reaction on the side of the House Mafia together with Ana.
Yeah, I know Tassadar combo is so deadly, but we have seen just how good Dayquaza is on this Urel. The only person to maybe prioritize it as hard as Wobby. It is so strong. These two potentially the best Urel players in Europe right now, but there are some arguments being made from some of the other teams in these monthly finals. Now, what are they going to set up with it? Tracer comes in this time for Washed Up, with Nick going to be hovering on that, and they bring out the Tyrael, those extra shields for that Tracer.
All right, I like it. Nick on Tracer. This is going to be quite a bit of fun. There's so many heroes where Nick is just an absolute blast to observe, and Tracer is a hero that, I don't know, like, she has fallen off a little bit in the priority that we see for him, I feel. Like, his Tracer is just absolutely fantastic, but these days when we look towards Nick, we're looking more so towards, you know, like his Kira plays, his Kerrigan plays, like those melee assassins that he brings out, and of course a lot of other heroes too, but you get him every now and then still on that Tracer, and it's always awesome to see that. So for support, could be the Malfurion pick here for sure, so that you get that heal over time. ETC gets banned, and so did the old man. But yeah, time to shine. And obviously now that the gist is a bit up on the damage side, the question is, what is the House Mafia going to do to counteract that and try and lock her down?
They have their tanks available. What are they would they maybe pick something with a bit more of a point and click CC? Or at least a little more of a quicker reaction CC to try and shut him down. They bring out Rexar, and they bring out Thrall. Now, Thrall's actually pretty reasonable against Tracer, because he can just zap her forever and try and prevent her from going in the first place by weakening her down. So cool to see. And of course, it's a safe solo laner to deal with Urel, except he probably won't be in the solo lane, because we have Rexar sneaking in here, who's also going to be able to hold against Urel well enough, but they have that rotation and they have those options. They can now send anyone up there if they need to give themselves some more freedom on the map.
Yeah, and here comes the Greymane and the Malfurion pick. Okay, so Malfurion together with Tracer was more or less a given. Again, that's what was to be expected with the bans that we've seen. But we get Greymane together with it too, so that's another one that can jump in together with Tracer to go for those quick kills, and a hero that capitalizes, of course, heavily on a good sanctification that Masquerade can drop. So we are in for our last pick for map number 1, and it is Diablo. Backwards on Diablo for the last pick for the team. And that, ladies and gentlemen, sets the stage for Towers of Doom. Washed Up against the Swedish House Mafia. Map number 1, Towers of Doom. We're going to jump into it in just a second. Towers of Doom, Washed Up against the Swedish House Mafia. On the left side in blue, we got Hazu's team, whereas over to the right side, the Swedes, the House Mafia, right there with the last pick, Diablo, as we're heading into this first game of the best of 3 series in the losers bracket of the Method Mayhem monthly final.
Let's see what we're starting off with at level 1. So far, everything's normal, but we're seeing some hidden talents for Swedish House Mafia. Diablo has yet to pick, very importantly. He's finally going to bring out the Devil's Due. So he's going for the Fountain and Globe style. There was a small chance he might have gone with the crowd control healing so that he could go even deeper and get value, but instead, he's given himself a lot more sustain on lanes and camps, so that he has that big healing output. Good stun. They try to get Masquerade, but he already had the sword out. He's able to escape.
Yeah, they're going for Nick, but yeah, Nick is a little bit too nimble on his feet, of course, in those early stages. Rotation between the mid and the bot lane for the two teams now. And just slowing the rotation a little bit, just nibbling away here with a few hit points. Nick is obviously going to be the one trying to slowly but steadily take down the hit point pool. Level 1 talent is going to be the Echo of Elements for Thrall, so he wants the second charge so that he can get more damage in against Nick. You talked earlier in the draft about how they are, of course, going to try and slowly but steadily take those hit points down of Tracer in particular. And this is exactly what they're looking for, with Nick moving in. And then the Echo of Elements being that reliable point-and-click damage. And if you have the second charges, that helps you, of course, a lot with that.
It's going to be able to be stacked with the Thunderstorm as well later on, and that's the main idea. Get that slow talent in at the later levels, and that's going to be what allows them to really put pressure onto Tracer. Those 2 stacks plus the slow means she's going to have a little bit of trouble with the focus. You see Masquerade moves past Burger, and that's going to be enough to force the disengage. You can see the Force Wall is down, and this will be a combo that we'll see throughout the game. Force Wall to set up for Burger's charge. Maka finds himself in a little bit of trouble, but there's the healing grenade, and that will allow Maka to get out of there safely. And they turn around, and they baited that camp most of the way towards their wall there. It nearly made it to core.
Yeah, also like really the approaches here of getting the body blocks in to just allow the rest of the team to follow up and maybe help them to get that kill. But right now, the Pumpkins make it through. The wall is already destroyed or nearly taken down, so things are looking pretty solid in the early game for Washed Up. They already have the level 4 talents in play, which obviously, as usual, gives us the pulse generator. On level 1, again, the 1-2 punch for Tracer, plus the Hand of Freedom here. The 4 gets also picked up very quickly, of course, by the House Mafia, but still, that's a really solid early game here for Washed Up, considering that we didn't have any kills yet in the game.
One of those Pumpkins actually made it all the way to the bell tower, by the way, as it followed Tassadar so far. So it just skipped and wrapped itself around and killed the bell tower, skipping the front wall entirely. As we see the first objective coming up, both teams of level 4, in fact level 5 available. Galner Gunnar is about to become paper as Nick dives super deep and picks up the kill, and that is the power of Tracer Greatmate.
Granny Gunnar down as the big bad wolf came in and took her apart. Now the altar's activating, and that's another 8 seconds where we don't have a support for the House Mafia. Dequaza at the top left, already getting the channel through. And it should be an easy one in the middle as well. Yeah, that's 2 shots fired, obviously. Counter kill up towards the top, but still an early lead, as already mentioned, for the blue team. Ahead in points on the core, ahead in kills, and taking a solid lead in experience as well now.
Just imagining a Swedish Little Red Riding Hood now, with Galner Gunnar getting targeted down by the big
No red in this game.
That's fair. That's fair. But either way, we do see... Oh, this is familiar. Oh, what small health pool you have, as Haswell's chases Galner Gunnar all the way back to base.
Yeah, and Granny is a little bit more nimble on her feet than I expected, is able to run away here. But there's a level 7 talent now. And you just look at the minimap and the position that they're taking. They are very aggressive in the way that they're now rotating and looking for kills in the entire time. So, Washed Up, definitely having the confidence going into this game now to make it through. But again, we're early in the first game. This is a best of 3 series. We're in the first game. It's only a single kill yet. We're only 4 minutes in. But so far, at least, there's a lot of confidence in the plays of Washed Up, even though Masquerade, in this case, was clutching it a little bit with the escape.
There's a Fountain, though, able to heal up. Nick goes a little deep, but will survive here. Masquerade drops the shield, allowing Nick to put even more pressure on. The slowing auto-attacks of Maka actually working out quite well in their favor there, putting pressure onto Nick, preventing him from getting even more mobility and putting him at risk.
Again, down here. Still the attempt to get another Pumpkin Camp connected. If they can do that, that would of course be great for them too. Would even put more pressure onto the bell tower. But the defense is there. 4-man trying to make sure that this is not happening just yet. Still double altar now top side. And that's the normal exchange. Top left, top right. Not going to see an invade here unless we have a total disaster happening down here at the bottom. And well, the kill against Ana might just be the start of exactly that. Ana down, but top left, top right get exchanged. And despite that second kill for Washed Up, there's nothing they can do about the auto control top side. And neither about the bell tower at the bottom. There's still 3 defenders there, and therefore no problem to hold on to this for a bit longer. The problem is that they might lose their pumpkin camp because of that kill.
And a lot of this is down to the fact that Ana is once again not here to support a defense of this camp, because who supports the support when Tracer is in your backline? Burger needs to maybe be saving these overpowers to buy time, but he needs them for the engages. In fact, he's the one being engaged on as Pulse Bomb lands. Lots of pressure as level 10 is about to hit Forceful. Charges, gets Greymane, but he's forced around the wall. But good gang from Gia, but Sanctification shuts it down. Their chance for a turnaround, it's scuppered by Masquerade.
That was really well done. They don't get the bell tower, but at least they're not losing anybody here, so they have to use some of the abilities that they were just able to grab. But they still were able to at least escort the pumpkins into the bell tower, and that's a lot of damage onto the bottom structure. And bot lane control is obviously absolutely crucial when you're playing on Towers of Doom, simply because it allows you to send those pumpkins eventually towards the core if you ever convert the bell tower. So good job by the red team to not lose out on that main structure, but still heavy damage already done. And maybe the kill finally against the blue team. Malfurion goes down as we have a nano boosted Tacita coming in and getting the kill for the team.
Counter attempt gonna come in here. Earthquake is dropped, but Maka is gonna drop the Archon. It's forced out as they look for Dayquaza, who drops the device in. Oh, counteractive force wall. Hasu's dropped very low. They try to finish him off with the bird, but Hasu is able to get out with 60 hit points remaining. Full retreat, but positioning very much taken by Swedish House Mafia.
Hasu opts with the German efficiency here, calculating that through, realizing that he's able to move out with no problem at all.
Using every part of the hit point pool as they make their way down to the bottom lane for the second channel.
Even close. Yeah, you need to use the entire hit point pool. If you don't do that, then it's not really efficient, you know.
Yeah.
So
not
if the Germans are known for anything, then they are for an unreliable train system and for efficiency in everything else.
And apparently unreliable internet.
Yeah, but the internet is very new for us. Tacita is dead, and they also get the shots connected here with the next altar that they're locking in, and maybe even the bell tower conversion. 28 points against 24, but that might just be a chance for them to get Greymane onto the bell tower and convert it over. But without minions, they're not really willing to commit to it.
Gal Naguna should not be alive, but he does live, and as such he's able to top everyone else off to prevent that bell tower from being taken. It would be too risky to push it in here. So instead we see Sappers being taken by Washed Up. They grab their own side and can maybe invade the side of Swedish House Mafia. But the fact is, with those Sappers, okay, the Masquerade comes over the wall. With those Sappers, they're probably getting this bell tower. Anti-heal on Burgot, but a good stun by Misha saves the day. Sank has to be forced out.
Yeah, forced out, but it allows them to get the kill for Thrall, so that's a nice one. 4 kills against 1, and the fight isn't over yet either. They're trying to go in again, but we have the Archon for Tacita, and you get the nano boost too. They're trying to burn him down quickly, and Marke falls before he can get the kill against Banana Age with his Malfurion. Birdman still healing everybody up as they are now trying to push in a little bit deeper for Diablo. They get their kill, and they're going for the follow-up against Ana, and this will be the end of the bell tower. Nicely done, and full-on action play here by Washed Up as they get level 13 talents, a 2-level lead, and a 6-kill advantage over their opponent.
Only one Sapper was used on the bell tower, so they're trying to force in the other two. They're very low, but they're right on the edge. Shield from Tyrael. Nick dives deep. One Sapper makes it in. The second one is killed off by the Side Storm, but they are greening for Maka. Force out the forceful banana rage of one more Moonfire to be extra bully. They have full control over this bottom lane. They're going to be able to channel in one more altar, get an extra 5 shots onto the core. And another 3 Sappers, I believe, make their way in here. And Washed Up pile more pressure on, bringing the core health down to 25.
15, yeah, so
15, I can count.
15 to 28. But that kill against Diablo in particular was just nuts. I mean, Tracer just following all the way here. And Nick saying like, nope, you're not escaping, you're mine. And that's a staggered death on top of it too. Now there's 7 kills ahead and 2 levels. Full-on control over the bot lane and a solid defense at the battle tower here too. With even an attempted play against Marke, who barely makes it out. Thanks to Khaldor, but that is just getting worse and worse and worse for them. This is washed up being on a full-on killing spree here.
Yep, they just own bot lane. We're not even seeing the attempt to clear it right now because Thrall is having to soak out that middle lane as well. And is also trying to hunt Tracer as they finally have a level 13 to even it up. Level 16 is just around the corner for Washed Up. And that's going to give them that talent advantage once again. On the bright side, Tassadar, 190 out of 250 stacks on that static charge. Going to give him a really solid amount of damage. And we've already been seeing how much those nano-boosted shots on that shock ray have been doing. And that's just going to get worse as the game goes on.
I mean, it's getting a little bit nuts here now because the level 16 talent is now dropping in. Tracer is already looking at top damage in the game here, and Nick is just rushing. Like, again, he is just like literally dancing circles around them. So now with the 16 talent already giving them an even bigger advantage, this particular altar phase is going to be disastrous. This could be the end of the game. If they take every single one of them, then it's just over right here. That's an early sanctification on the other hand.
Yeah, Banana Rage is in melee range of Burger, and they seem to decide that burning the Sank pre-team fight with a talent advantage is going to be a better call than losing Malfurion and potentially getting absolutely rushed down. We're going to see Swedish House Mafia grab their own side, and knowing Sank's gone, they seem to believe that that is enough of a call to make their way in and 5-man this top. This does mean 2-3 sappers make their way in top lane, and now it's going to be a 4 versus 5 up in top lane. Channel's already come in. They get the extra 3, making it a 3 for 6 in their favor as Swedish House Mafia are now in full retreat.
Yeah, they still connected to fight, so they still committed to it, but they lost the interrupt, and that's a problem because that could have been a fantastic situation for Washed Up. It still is, but again, this is a comeback map, but as long as there is no 16 talent, it's not really a problem. Greymane with a kill against Thrall. The fight at the top as Khaldor is in trouble, but he is able to get away. Berkut is also on the run. 9 kills to 1, still a talent advantage. Now the tunnels are opening up too, but that was a good defense on the triple altar from the House Mafia. This could have been way worse. They could have dropped down to 2 points here, and that would have been more or less a checkmate position. But now there's still, theoretically, at least a chance that they come back once they lock in the level 16 talents for themselves.
Dequaza trading out stuns with some Grotto there. Just Divine Steed's out, though. Heals himself up. More sappers, though, continuously pushing in this bottom lane, and finally, we will see Swedish House Mafia put in the numbers and the members to defend this. They have 16 just around the corner, so they will actually be even on talents. For the first time in a while, Burger tries to charge Tyrael, but the return with that Sword of Justice gets him out of danger immediately. Tassadar already trying to bully this camp, but it's being shielded by Tyrael. They push forward. They do have Sank, so they could do the Sank trick to make the Sappers make their way through, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen as they try to bully onto Rexxar. Make their way forward. Maka survives a very hard engagement. They've cleaned out the camp.
Yeah, Altar spawning in 5, so they have 16 versus 16 now. It's at least an even talent situation. That makes it a little bit better, but they're going to lose out on this one as Dequaza's... well, maybe not. No, they go through the tunnel, and... Oh, the range wasn't there. Oh, no. That hurts. Now they're down to 2 points, and the kill against Diablo. There's the sanctification just after Thrall committed his own ult, and they're going for a market. They keep the kill against Tassadar. They're trying to go for another follow-up against Granny. Khaldor, he's down to 12 kills to 1. Gia on the run. Hashtag not my war chief as Thrall dies. Rexxar is dead too. 5-man wipe. And that is going to be a play for Boss as Hazu and Washed Up. They go for the win here in game number 1. The best of 3 series starts with a victory on Towers of Doom for Washed Up as they easily take down their opponent and lock in the W. GG and well played on Towers of Doom.
Yeah, they already have 2 counters for Bloodlust compositions with Falstad and Deckard Cain, so they can really just pick whatever they want frontline-wise. as they already have the opportunity to control fights how they wish. So it depends what kind of engaged style they want. Like you said, with Johanna, with the Tyrael, which we are going to see here, taking that away. It worked so well for them last game. Gives them even more fight control, and more importantly, boss control on this map, where they're going to be able to really try and pressure the Swedish House Mafia and prevent them from gaining map control, because Greymane Rhaegar, as already pointed out, incredibly fast camp clearers, and that includes the boss.
Yeah, again, you have to take it here. First of all, it's a great hero for the map anyways. I said it at the beginning of the draft, but if your opponent already has these heroes locked in, it's just too much. That, with Zeratul, puts an interesting twist to it now. So we got Johanna and we get Gia on Zeratul. So Hazu is going to be in trouble a bit, which could actually also change his talent choices slightly. We could see a bit more of a lightning rod focus, especially around the level 4 talent, considering that he's up against Zeratul here. And, well, Nick with the last pick. He's oftentimes the wild card for the team in regards to the damage that he brings. He goes for the hammer time. All right. The Germans.
They bring the Panzer, as
The
we
Panzer.
do see with them
Germans
finishing
with the
that off.
Panzer.
So they do have an incredibly strong front line now, great disengage potential. Hasu is about as safe as he could be, but I really do like that Zeratul pickup. It can pressure Hasu at least a little bit. And of course, what's the biggest counter to Sanctification? Putting enemies in a bubble until it expires. And that's exactly what we've seen from Zeratul in the past.
Yeah, game on. We got Cursed Hollow as our map. There's the lead, of course, now for the team in blue. And the big question, can they make it a 2-0 victory, or are we going to see a third map in this particular series? We got the tank in, so Sergeant Hammer has been picked. We have, therefore, Nick, actually, on Falstad, going straight into the auto attack setup here. As for level 1, we get Cleave for Zeratul on the other side. And Zeratul, I heard he likes chicken. He is a chicken connoisseur. He likes those thighs and those chicken breasts, so he is going to be very close to Nick throughout this entire game, which could change some of the talent choices for Nick, especially, of course, when we're talking about a potential level 4 pick into Lightning Rod, just to get that static shield out there. So there's definitely a couple of options right now that could influence how this is going to go, simply because of the picks that we're taking.
Samgrotta also likes chicken, as we saw. They're attempting to get the drag tongue onto the Falstad, but unfortunately it wasn't finger-looking good, as he was unable to pick up the kill. It's true. It is true. As first tower goes over, Marker is almost first blood as he's forced to roll away. So much pressure on this bot lane as a full brawl broke out under towers.
Yeah, so top side, that's where we have Sergeant Hammer just going for these auto attacks. I mean, this is one of those things, if you hit that right click just perfectly, you know, then the shot goes off. That's why the Germans are always taking the Panzer, because they are so incredibly efficient when it comes to that. Hammering the right click. You should see Hazu's mouse. One of the reasons why sometimes we have him with a couple of tech difficulties is because his mouse has been absolutely demolished. The right mouse button is pretty much, it has a huge dent in it. I've seen it. It's totally cracked.
It does. It really does. As is probably with Sergeant Hammer, his W button as well, his E button as well. Sorry, as he has been really good with those unstoppables. B steps from Masquerade. I don't know. Just seeing Hammer is giving me PTSD from yesterday. As for now, wave clear comes in. Nick taking out the Siege Giants, but even more pressure on that top lane.
It's honestly the two heroes where you immediately know what like a player looks like. Is if your Q button is down, you know, Lily player is in play. If you have a destroyed right mouse button, then you definitely know that this is very likely a Hammer player.
Couldn't agree more. As we do see Dequaza pulling back. Samgrotta under towers. He's going to get the tower before he takes too much damage, but he is a little low on health, but no stun from Dequaza. Doesn't want to take the risk with so many members here. He does have reinforcements coming in. Tyrael comes down. In the meantime, Hasu's still going.
Yeah, I mean, Hazu is just simply pushing through the top, and instead they are pushing the bottom now. So they're trying to trade. They're not trying to defend the top lane. They know that against Hammer, it's like super annoying to play that style. Once that he sieges up and you are on the defensive, it's incredibly difficult to do anything because they can just slow poke you. But here they're going instead for the trade with the help of the Siege Giants, and that's a much better strategy. So you're sacrificing one lane and you're playing it slow and just delay it with Johanna as much as you can, but you try to get the counter value on the other side of the map. But that makes for a very weird game right now, and Swamgrotta might actually be the first one to die here. The dinosaur extinct again as Tyrael comes in with the final blow.
They try to get it, pick up the first kill there. Now Dahaka not available for the objective, which right now Hasu is channeling, but he won't get it. Burger just has delays for days. He has no fort to retreat to, though, and there are enemies on the way. Rhaegar and Greymane are on the way as well, but Rhaegar's going to be zoned out, and it looks like they're just going to have to give this up.
Yeah, I mean, they can delay it a little bit longer and hope for someone to rotate over if there's another flashlight available, but yeah, not really the case. They have a double channel going, so there's a level 7 talent too. And here comes the jet propulsion, but not enough to take Burger down. Well, maybe they're trying to put him into a corner quite literally, and that's too many body blocks for him to handle. So the kill against Jojo. And interestingly enough, we don't have the static shield on level 4. Again, with Zeratul being here in play, I could have definitely seen a talent choice on that line, but we have hammer gains for Nick as he's now up against 2 at the bottom of the map and is already receiving that Zeratul damage, which forces him to get a quick top off at the fountain.
Yeah, he's just going to hold that for now. Zeratul, by the way, also going for a more burst composition as opposed to the AoE with Seeker in the Dark and Psionic Strength. He's gone for Greater Cleave, which is a bit of a more of a flexible talent on this build, but it's going to allow him to actually make up for the more single target focused build by getting at least some extra AoE with that extra radius.
Same time now, still the aggression over in the camps. Next objective is also going to come up soon. I mean, in bot lane, obviously the fort will soon fall as well. But yeah, Hammer is another hero that is just like really with level 7 talent with the Hover Siege mode coming really online. Before that, it's not really quite the case, but now that he has a bit more mobility with this, Haas also will be putting more of a dent into the defense of the opponent. If they can establish him on an objective or maybe even a boss. But given the position of the tribute, they are likely just simply going to let that one slide. Yeah, they're going to try and interrupt here.
No, they don't succeed. Good zone by Burger, allows Gallagher to channel it in, gives us 1-1 in terms of objective. By the way, Johanna, Zealous Glare coming in. I think we talked about it a little bit, but it's a less usual talent here. But really trying to commit for these extra blinds to try and stop Hasu, because he's still going, and now he has Hover Siege.
Yeah, and on top of that, we have the BFG now in. The ults are ready for them. They have a half-level lead, and if you have that particular setup and you have heroic abilities, you can easily push 4-4. There's just nothing to do for the red team. The House Mafia has no chance here. They're just simply sitting there, and they're getting beaten to a pulp if they're trying to engage into this. They need level 10, so that's an easy wall that gets destroyed. That's extra damage on the fort too. So that little window, that small window they just had, window of opportunity allowed the blue team to get mad damage onto the mid lane.
Yep, they're still going, and the fact is Hasu's not even in danger. He's finally going to unsiege, but that's because Tyrael's left, because Tyrael has gone for swift retribution here. Extra movement and attack speed for Hasu, meaning that even in siege mode, he's got almost as much movement as a regular hero, making him incredibly hard to engage on. Level 10 finally available, and we see, well, if we can't get past all your disengages, let's just skip it entirely, with Falling Sword coming in for Johanna.
Yeah, they're already going down to the bottom of the map to get the boss. Top side, at least, is a counter play. So it's pretty much trading. The entire time what we're seeing is like the attempt to avoid direct 5 versus 5 engages and instead just trading. Your opponent pushes one lane, you push another. Your opponent takes the boss, you take the one on the other side of the map. So that MO works for a while, but at some point you just have to face the music and really go into that team fight. And it seems like Washed Up is willing to force that over the tribute at the top, and that is a potential curse tribute. So right now, Red Team has to really think how they want to play this one out, because if they don't rotate up towards the top quickly, they are going to get cursed. And yeah, seems like they are even okay letting this one slide.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell? Yeah, they're okay letting this one go.
Yeah, just channels in. They get bot fort. Minions are able to finish that off as Greymane's going to clear out the boss in bottom lane. But yeah, they trade out a fort for the curse. But the boss in bot lane wasn't cleared fully. It's still got half its health left. Siege Giants will help with that a lot. But that's going to start doing damage to that fort. And mid lane is about to have a bad day. Almost as bad a day as Zeratul is about to have, as he's being engaged on super hard down here. He is able to get away with the help of Galnaguna.
So the fort bot lane has been destroyed by Dehaka. Dehaka is now moving back into the fight. Quasar bunkering up just in time. But on the map, there's of course mad action happening. There is the Falling Sword as Bagul is jumping in. Stay a while and listen. Sanctification. And Blaze gets sniped by Jojo just as he was about to walk out here. The boss moved through the bottom fort though. All the forts are gone. 19 seconds.
Wow.
The old man is also dead. 2 kills for 2. Top lane is taking some damage. Same in the middle. But the map control has definitely now swung heavily over towards the blue team, despite the fact that they just lost 2 heroes in this encounter.
See, that was almost a big misplay by Swedish House Mafia, as they did miscommunicate and dropped the Falling Sword onto the VP, meaning no one was hit. But they're still able to turn that round very nicely. They'd already weakened Dayquaza enough, as he was very far out, that they were able to pick him up, and with the amount of CC they have, they were able to chase down Decade K, pick themselves up double kill, even up the kill count, give themselves an experience lead. Problem is, they now have no forts, meaning that they really have to get the next curse to try and bring themselves back into this game.
And of course, it also means depending on where exactly you fight, your opponent can fall back and top off at the fountain. Well, to be fair, there's only 2 fountains still remaining. But yeah, it's a bit of a problem now. We are 10 minutes in, or close to, so catapults not really that strong just yet, but it's still additional pressure on those lanes that will give the opponent more map control. And despite the fact that there's a bit of a leading experience for the red team, this is a good position to be in for Washed Up. And these experienced leaders, counterintuitive as it might seem, they are usually a result of you getting cursed, because you can just soak the experience easier than your opponent unless they split onto 3 lanes. So that will change later on once the passive experience gain that you get through those structure kills is really coming through for you.
Secret Agent here just waits it out. Completely invisible. He's got the full stealth on. Oh, he moved. He moved. He's going to try and get Hasu, but he just baits out the Unstoppable. Gets a little bit of damage. It's immediately healed up by Banana Rage.
Yeah, and there's another tower gone up at the top. There's a lot of global value coming in for the red team at least. So that's great. They have at the bottom of the map continuously the Haka pushing this out. Of course, eventually threatening to take the keep, or at least dropping the keep wall and allowing a potential play after a team kill. But there's still also another camp pushing through the middle, and they are committing heavily to this. The Haka is now forced to tunnel in, and that's exactly what it does, but there's a Sanctification available, and it's just barely getting used here. The Haka already in trouble as the backline gets VP'd off, but Sergeant Hammer is not connected by this, and that's a one-auto attack after another for Hazops as the old man comes in again with another stay a while and listen. Masquerade still alive. Johanna jumping out, the cap stolen, and Khaldor dies as they are chasing the rest of the team.
The Bloodlust attempt was solid, but they get absolutely shut down. They're unable to kill Dayquaza, who just tags that point beautifully. Masquerade, when he was in trouble, he just went into the Void Prism and kept himself alive that way. So they were able to try and get a 1v4, basically, but everyone was too low by that point, weakened by Nick, by Hasu, and by that point, they didn't have enough damage to finish off Dayquaza, who held that beautifully. And now they lost the camp. They're taking a lot of damage onto their keep. This fountain is getting absolutely bodied, but they changed the aggro to finish off the keep instead. But everyone's respawning. This will force a disengage. Keep will survive this time, but they still have enough people here to put a bit more pressure on.
Yeah, and still, the catapults that will push, they are, of course, now getting more and more value as those walls are already taken down. And the boss at the bottom of the map is just now spawning, and that's an immediate move over from Washed Up. And honestly, if the red team doesn't do that, okay, they're going for their own. That was a bit of a problem. If they don't immediately rotate to their own boss, then they're going to be in mad amount of trouble, because that could be a double boss play by Washed Up. Just need to let their own boss push through the bot lane, because the bottom fort is down, which means this boss will attack the keep. Whereas top side, it's already a different setup, because the fort is still there. I mean, it's going to fall, and it's not going to do a lot, but it will slow the move down a little bit. And that is all that they need at this point. I mean, even the Siege Giants are now taken at the bot lane, and the Tribute is spawning there too. So this is a great setup for Washed Up.
Something I want to point out here from Masquerade is he's gone for the buff the hammer build, as he's gone for Law and Order, meaning extra damage from every hero he's able to get with his shield on Smite, and extra cooldown reduction on his shield as Femgarter is forced away, and more importantly, Smite the Wicked. Each hero hit, while Eldarin's is active, for 2 seconds after teleporting, Smite's cooldown recharges 125% faster, meaning more swift retributions for Hammer, and they're able to take better fights. Burger's forced to pull all the way back. Gia forced to use Blink to get out of the way, but the boss will be cleaned before the keep takes damage.
Yeah, top side, the boss is doing a fair amount of damage too, so they have to actually defend this. They might have overstayed a little bit, because it could be that that boss is doing more damage than they were able to do at the bottom of the map. Now, they got the additional tribute, and that is worth a lot in a situation like this, so we shouldn't ignore that. They have the opportunity to go for another curse, but they need to defend the top, and Forza is finally flying in. This is way too much damage on that Keep Thatcher. This is not a good trade for them.
Yeah, it keeps taking a lot of damage here, weakening it, setting it up for the potential Swedish House Mafia turn. They scout out the Bruiser camp, seeing if the attention was split, seeing if they had anyone to kill. No one was there, and Desquaza being very patient with this, as no one is showing on the map.
The choice is simple.
Yeah, so now that the tribute is up again, this is another tribute you have to fight over, but it's even experience. It's 4 kills against 2. It's not really a very kill-heavy game right now. It's just simply people trying to find some value through globals and also through the objective itself. So Blaze is at the bottom of the map. He has to deal with that push from Dehaka, but that also means that he is going to be late for a potential fight topside. So that is a bit problematic. And off we go. Tribute is going to spawn any second. Of course, Hammer is already set up, and that's always tricky to push into.
Yep, Hammer and Deckard are set up. Hammer in a soft drink commercial by the looks of it as he moves forward through the bottles. As Svangrotta drops to a 3rd health already with the amount of pressure that's being dealt to him. Here comes Falling Sword, though. Sack shuts it down. Here's the Bloodlust, but the disengage has already happened. Gust is being held, but that was a very easy escape. Burning 2 of the big heroics of Swedish House Mafia. They're going to try and channel, but it's denied by Gust.
Yeah, and they're now pushing in again. And now there is a bit of a push bot lane through catapults, but it's not going to get too much. And this is a locked-in curse, exactly. That's the 3rd tribute. So the question is always, what can you do with the curse? And the lanes are not really pushed out all that much. They still need to take and try and win the fight, or at least the lane. But the camp is taken. That's already a huge step. And here we go. They're trying to go for Blaze. He has the bunker up. First of all, the old man comes in with another good setup. Against 2, stun comes out. Nice, the BFG perfectly lined up. Hazu hits 4 with it and does mad damage.
Berger just saved his teammates' lives there. He hid around the corner to avoid a lot of the hard engage and damage, and then blinded when people tried to follow up on that sleep, keeping his team alive and keeping them in this game. This curse, though, is going to be the death of 1, maybe 2 keeps, as middle is going to be absolutely destroyed with 25 seconds left to rotate to top or bot lane and really keep the pressure on. Looks like bot lane might be the target. They're going to grab the vision, might be able to steal the Siege Giants here, but they're just going to keep piling on the pressure. But level 20 is still hit by Swedish House Mafia first, which is why we see the disengage from Washed Up. Dehaka value.
Yeah, exactly. Dehaka with a continuous experience soaked the entire time. So the Heaven's Fury is now in. Another minute for the boss, but yeah, top keep has taken a bit of damage. I mean, if they can just take bots, ideally you take top boss at some point. But yeah, the structural position on the map is actually pretty nuts right now in favor of Washed Up. Taking that keep in the middle is fantastic. Still having a keep available in the mid lane for yourself, it makes it even better because there's no catapult pressure against you through the middle, whereas every single wave that you have spawns a catapult against your opponent. So it doesn't get much better than that. It would be better if it was an off lane. That's the only thing,
yeah.
But still, they will be able to pressure that as the game continues. And if we ever have some kind of setup where you threaten boss and your opponent tries to deny it, then you can always play, you know, that time game where you just stall it out and allow the catapults to push deeper in, and Forza can also fly over and help out.
Level 20 is available for both teams. Ultra capacitors for that Sergeant Hammer. Wind Tunnel. And Falstead also just completed Season Marksman. Nicely done. Respect the Elderly. That silence is going to be a huge deal in these fights. And more important, and very interestingly, in fact, Burn Notice coming in for the Blaze. A more unusual talent here. But he really wants to do damage and finish the game.
Yeah, but that's a little bit weird now. Oh, well, not weird, but this is going to be a weird setup because now that you take the boss, you of course want to push and go for a game. The problem is that the top keep is so low that it's going to fall for sure. So right now, this isn't really going to do a whole lot. This is actually a move. Yeah, exactly. We are seeing the red team push in because they see an opportunity to end the game now. And that's what they're going to try and do. So they're going to attempt to win the game here. So this is the one chance, I think, that we have for the House Mafia to win this by simply using that boss topside where the keep has already taken 50% damage to end the game.
They got the camp, but Hasu's already cleaning that before any damage to the keep. Here comes the pressure. Scroll of Ceiling, trying to zone. Hasu getting the most of that swift retribution, but he's getting blinded by Johanna. Keep is down. This is going to turn into a team fight that decides the game by the looks of it as Johanna moves forward. Here they come. Stay a while with the silence, with a fantastic Heaven's Fury for Burger. There's the bloodlust. This is their chance, but the mighty Gust shuts it down. Huge stun from Blaze. From Grotter's deleted. Burger's got no health. Mucker's going to try, but the boss is done. Johanna's abandoned him and forsaken him in his time of need. The bottom boss has moved on to core, and that's going to be game washed up. We'll move on to the next round.
Yeah, they're going to go in 87. That mighty gas was just the perfect angle, and we had a BFG coming up just as they were all pinned into the wall, and that connected beautifully. So well done. Catapults, 3 of them, they drop it. That's game. That's a 2-0. Washed up, moves on, and the House Mafia is out of the tournament.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.